Records have always been a tool for us to chronicle history, but sports records are assets that we, the fans, use as tools to help us determine just which players stood out amongst their peers in any individual season or throughout their collective careers. So in this video, I'm going to discuss 4 Carolina Panthers who have the opportunity to raise their stock and etch their names in Carolina Panthers history with some standout performances that they could put forth in this 2025-2026 season, and we are going to get into all of that right after this.
I'm from the foe. You dig?
Welcome to The Way I See It with Jamario Rashad. This is a Carolina Panthers fan channel. Please make sure you subscribe and make sure you hit the like button, all of that good stuff, as I am on my road to 3K, trying to make sure my channel continues to grow as we play out this season. Now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and get to the first player who has the opportunity to rise their stock and etch their name further into the lore of this Carolina Panthers franchise, and we are going to start with QB1. You already know who he is. We are talking about Bryce Young. So there are three records, or there are three things that Bryce Young has the opportunity to do throughout this season. The first being, if Bryce Young is able to throw for 3,027 passing yards, he will move up into fourth all-time for the Carolina Panthers franchise in passing yards all-time. If he's able to get 22 passing touchdowns, that puts him fourth again. And if he's just able to complete 146 passes, he will be fourth all-time in completions. Now, what is the likelihood, or my opinion on what is the likelihood of all of this happening? I am going to bet the over on just about all of these. If I am going to bet on what I saw at the conclusion or the tail end of last season and what I've been hearing out of training camp and looking into the addition of Teteroa McMillan and everything like that, Bryce Young should be able to do all of these things. These are average seasons for a quarterback in the year 2025, and each one of these things is something that Bryce Young, honestly, not even having an excellent season, if he just has a average season compared to what he did last season, he should be able to break these records. So the likelihood, in my opinion, of Bryce Young doing all of this, I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably, I'm going to say 100%, unless, knock on wood, my guy gets hurt. I don't want that to happen. But, hey, man, I think all of these things are possible. He will move above Kerry Collins in just about all of these stats. He still have another season or so to go before he starts touching Steve Berline, and, seasons and seasons and seasons before he starts touching Jake and Cam. But in terms of moving into fourth, I think Bryce can do it. What do you all think? Do you all think Bryce Young will be able to, just accomplish these feats and become, the fourth most accomplished in terms of stats quarterback in Carolina Panthers history? Not going to belabor that too long. The next player we are going to talk about is going to be none other than running back Chuba Hubbard. Now, Chuba Hubbard has the opportunity to do two things this season, and that is to move he has the opportunity to be third all-time in rushing yards, as well as third all-time in rushing TDs. But the more impressive feat, or what some would consider the more impressive feat, is in doing both of these things. If he has 806 rushing yards as well as 11 touchdowns, not only will he move into third, but he will move above Christian McCaffrey, the guy that he was drafted to originally come in and back up. His career would have at that point lasted longer in Carolina than C-Mac, and in terms of rushing output, he would have moved beyond that. And personally, I'm going to say I believe the 806 yards is, let's just book that he's going to get that, but 11 touchdowns is a stretch. No matter how much Dave Canales wanted to preach, we were going to be stubborn about the run. That is not the case. We did not see the run consistently enough last season, and I know that Brad Idzik was calling the plays in the first preseason game, but he is, an extension of the OC, of the head coach, who is the guy that's going to be calling the plays, and we didn't see much running then. So I don't believe that he's going to have the opportunity on the goal line just that much. I believe that we're going to have those fades to Tet and just those and the same type of plays going to Xavier Legette. I believe all of that's going to take a little precedent over Chuba Hubbard. So I don't believe 11 rushing touchdowns is going to be possible, but 806 yards, book it. So he will move into third all time in terms of rushing, but I believe we still will need a year or so before he does the same in terms of rushing touchdowns. So next, we are going to discuss only rookies this time, as Ted McMillan is not in his rookie season going to threaten to be any first all-time or top five anything in just one season. But what we can compare him to are other rookie wide receivers and pass catchers that have come into the Carolina Panthers franchise in our 30-year illustrious history. So the most outstanding rookie wide receiver that the Carolina Panthers have ever had is no doubt Kelvin Benjamin. I know a lot of people hate that name because of how things turned out in the end with him, but rookie Kelvin Benjamin was undeniable. Over 1,000 yards, 1,008 to be exact, and 9 touchdowns. That is with Cam Newton force feeding him to the tune of 145 targets. Do I believe that Ted McMillan would be able to overtake this? And what exactly would it take for him to do it? Now, first of all, he would have to have 74 catches to be the wide receiver to have the most catches as a rookie in Carolina Panthers history. If you look right there, the player that had the most as a rookie is Christian McCaffrey with 80, but as a running back, and most of those just being little check downs and dump offs, I'm going to choose to exclude that. So with 74 catches, he would be one over Kelvin Benjamin to have the rookie record. With only 1,009 yards, he would be first and the most accomplished Carolina Panthers rookie wide receiver in terms of yardage output and 10 touchdowns. I am going to give my guess and say that he is going to be able to do 2 out of the 3 of these things. I believe that Bryce Young is going to ingratiate himself with Teteroa McMillan and try to make, in terms of making him the focal point of the offense. All the targets that we would see, let's say back in 2023, when Bryce would just snap the ball and immediately look for Adam Thielen, as he knew that that was his safety blanket, is somebody that he can depend on play to play. I believe that that will be Teteroa McMillan in 2025, as we saw Bryce having extreme confidence going to an early and often, and plays being drawn up for him early and often in the first preseason game. I expect that to continue into the regular season, and I believe that Teteroa McMillan will get over 100 targets, and I believe that he will snag more than 73 to get this record of at least 74 catches to be the most accomplished pass catcher as a in terms of a rookie season in Carolina Panthers history. I think the 1,000 yards, I'm gonna just book that. I think that is close to less than 7, like a little bit less than 70, rough math, I might be wrong, don't hold me to it, less than 70 yards a game. I believe Tech can be able to do that easily, even if he only surpasses it by a little bit. We have an extra game now compared to when Kelvin played. The opportunity for him to be able to do that is going to be there, and I do think he's going to do it. Now, 10 touchdowns, that's just tough to say, man. Kelvin had 9, but like I said, Cam threw him the ball 145 damn times, and he was the red zone target, constantly getting those fade balls and everything and attacking that back pylon. So I don't believe that Teteroa will get as many opportunities as that. So I don't believe that he will be a rookie that scores 10 touchdowns, unfortunately. So I believe that he will be somewhere probably in that 2 to 3 range. What was number 2? No, he'll definitely be number 2. Number 2 is Kerry Collins with 5. I believe Tet will have at least 5, so I believe he will end up no worse than tied for second in terms of rookie output for a wide receiver. So the final player that we are going to discuss is second-year tight end Javian Sanders, somebody whose name has not been buzzing as much as it was in his rookie season. But if you were a close watcher of the team last year before his unfortunate injury that saw him being carted off the field, Javian Sanders was getting better week after week. His blocking, which he was, maligned for before coming into the league, and part of the reason why he fell all the way to the 4th round, he was getting better at that. Of course, was he losing? Was he still getting beat? That happens. The people on the other side of the ball get paid too. But you could see a rookie progress from week 1 to week 8. You could see a completely different type of player out there in terms of run blocking, but what we drafted him for was to be a playmaker, and he had the most yards as a rookie in, God knows when in Panthers history. And as a rookie, he put up 300 and I believe it was 83. I'm gonna say 83. Don't hold me to that. But in terms of when I put this together, I know for him to move into that lauded top five, which is something that's always going to be very valid, especially with the Carolina Panthers, who's a team who is the second youngest in the NFL. Is it the second or the third? Is it the Jags and the Jags and the Texans, or is it just the Texans? I can't remember. But I know we are either the second or the third youngest in the team in the league. We do not have this 8-9+ decade long history of NFL records and all of this. So we don't have a top 5, top 20 because we don't have that many names that have played for our franchise. So the top 5 really is the sweet spot of the top players that have been on this team so far. So Javian Sanders with 582 yards could slide his way into 5th all time in just 2 seasons for the Carolina Panthers in terms of receiving yards for a tight end, and he needs 80 catches to move into 5th all time for catches for a tight end for Carolina Panthers. One of two of these is possible. The one of two of these is absolutely ridiculous. Do I believe that he could have more than 582 receiving yards? Absolutely. With Tommy Tremble coming off of an injury, with us not necessarily knowing what we're going to get out of Mitchell Evans, nor knowing exactly how the team wants to use him, Javian Sanders will be the primary pass catching option in that tight end spot. The Carolina Panthers have already shown that they're not scared to split him out wide, put him on the boundary, use him all over the field. They just want to use him as a weapon. So getting more yards than he did as a rookie, only about 250 more yards as a rookie than he did as a rookie, playing a full season and being a more targeted part of the offense. I believe that 582 yards is very much possible. But 80 catches, you a damn fool if you think he can get that. Unfortunately, I know I'm the one bringing it up. I'm not saying anybody thought that, but this is what it would take to move into 5th all time for Carolina Panthers pass catching tight ends, and there's just no way in hell that he is going to get the usage, the targets to be able to not only be targeted more than 80 times, but be targeted more than 80 times and catch 80 passes. It just won't happen. It's something that could possibly happen for him in the upcoming seasons, but unfortunately, he will not be moving into 5th all time this season, man. So that is all of the records. Oh, shoot.
You did.
Wrong thing. I gave you the bumper. My bad. That is all of the records that I want to discuss. I know this isn't, nobody's moving into number one. Nobody's threatening to be the GOAT of the franchise or anything like that. But narratives are written by the people that pay attention, and these are the things that are going down. And before anybody can get to number one, they have to get past number 4, number 3, number 2, i.e. Bryce Young, Chuba Hubbard. And I'm the type of guy that likes to keep out a close eye on the players that are getting close to that type of thing. So what do you all think? Which one of these players do you think, or any of these players do you think will be able to etch their name higher on the list of all-time Panthers with their output in the 2025 season? Leave your comments down below, and I'll be sure to get back with you when I can. But until next time, I am Jamario Rashad. This is the way I see it, and I'm out. Peace.